It seems amazing to me that 8 years has passed since we lost my great friend and musical colleague, Jon Lord. The time's gone nowhere. But I remember the first time I met him, which was about a year before Deep Purple was formed. My little band opening for his band, the Art Woods, at the Marquee Club in the West End of London. This for us was a big gig, you know. Used to playing little pubs and dance halls in the north. Playing in the West End of London was a big deal. Anyway, we got there and the Art Woods were just finishing their sound check and left the stage, and we set up. And then when we went backstage, getting ready to get changed and do our little bit. Anyway, I had the most ludicrous stage outfit in those days. It consisted of a pair of silver boots, which I borrowed from my landlady. She had the same size feet as me. A pair of lemon bell-bottom trousers, incredibly tight. A turquoise blue satin shirt with a huge collar. And a pink chiffon scarf. It looked like a rainbow on acid. Anyway, Jon saw me getting changed into this. He said, "Oh dear, what's the matter?" He said, "Well, a good friend of ours is coming along tonight, Long John Baldry. Just be careful." Well, I hadn't got a clue what he was talking about. Long John was, shall we say it, not a ladies' man, quite the reverse. Anyway, he turned up and was saying hello to Jon and the other guys in the Art Woods. And he looked across at me and he went, "Oh, little boy, let me introduce myself." I went in a look of panic as the realization dawned. Jon looked across and went, "I told you so." The concerto. Difficult, but Jon had this need to write a piece for a full symphony orchestra and a rock and roll band. It was rolling around in his head and he wanted to do it. So we said, okay, we'll try and make it work for you. It was all set up. We got Malcolm Arnold, wonderful fella, to do the conducting. And we got the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra to agree to the show. I think it involved giving them lots of money. Probably did. Anyway, the first meeting did not go well. The RPO were rehearsing something else in a hall somewhere in London, and we were taken down to be introduced for them. And you could feel the chill in the air as we walked down to the front. They really didn't like us just from the offset, just because of what we played, what we looked like, what we were. Malcolm tried to diffuse the situation, but he didn't get very far. It was still sort of -0 when we left. Anyway, we got to the rehearsals, and all these reams of paper on everybody's stand, you know, for all 3 movements, pages and pages and pages of dots. Now, I don't read music. I have a good memory. You know, I hear something a couple of times, I can do it. Bluff my way through it 3 or 4 times, I've got it. Anyway, so I rolled up with one little piece of paper, about that big, you know, paper with lines on it. And I had all my instructions for the 40 minutes of music written on this one piece of paper. And the first violinist next to me looking goes, "The boy can't read music, what's going to happen? It'll never work." And the rumour goes around the orchestra that the drummer can't read a note. And anyway, rehearsals start. And rehearsals start to break down. And rehearsals start again and keep on breaking down. And eventually we got through one whole concerto, not without mistakes. But the only one who didn't make a mistake was me and Jon. The last time I saw Jon We were visiting two very dear friends of ours, have a wonderful piece of land in the Thames Valley on the top of a hill, having a glass of champagne, because I was off the next day to Nashville to start the recording sessions for the Now What record. And up until that point, every time I'd seen John when he was suffering from this terrible cancer, you could tell he was in pain, but there was a will there, a fight to try and beat it. But that time I didn't see it. In the eyes, something had gone. And I had a feeling that when I said goodbye to him that night, I probably wouldn't see him again. And sure enough, about a week later, we got the word that he'd passed away. We were in the studio, and of course everything stopped. For 20 minutes, a sort of silence there. People just sitting down, thinking, the reality hitting home. And then the first little story came out. Oh, do you remember when John used to tell that joke about the World War I fighter? And then it started. Do you remember when John? And then he did that. And when he sat down and told that, all these stories came out. And it was like we were bringing him back to life for ourselves, for our own sanity in the studio. And this went on for about half an hour. Although we weren't back to a mental normality about it, we could get on with the rest of the day because we brought all these wonderful things that personified John. His humour, his ability to make people feel comfortable, his kindness. He was a wonderful guy. And when he left us, we didn't just lose a really great rock and roll blues musician. We lost a really good composer as well. His love of orchestral music continued right to his last days. He'd found something in later life that he really loved, and he found he was very good at it. I miss my buddy a lot.